From licensing tanning beds to keeping track of radioactive materials, even monitoring the air inside of Palo Verde nuclear power plant.
All of this is the responsibility of the Arizona Radiation Regulatory Agency. It's part of their job to keep the public safe. Fox 10's Jill Monier toured their lab and emergency response facility, and she also got a peek at their latest equipment.
Rinsing,
this is one of the drinking water samples,
swirling, and shaking. Physicists at the Arizona Radiation Regulatory Agency are looking for radiation.
These are drinking water samples from some local residences, as well as a restaurant and a school located out near the power plant.
The Arizona Radiation Regulatory Agency keeps track of radioactive material, equipment, and the people who use it. But one of its biggest responsibilities is monitoring radiation levels outside Palo Verde nuclear power plant, the largest nuclear energy facility in the United States.
All of the testing typically is done just as a constant monitor to make sure that there's been no releases from the nuclear power plant.
Water, air, soil, even milk from around the power plant is tested regularly.
We rarely see anything of significance, but that's a good thing.
You can get more radiation from your medical x-rays than you get from, well, you do get more from x-rays than you get from Palo Verde.
For 22 years, Aubrey Godwin has been the director of the regulatory agency. He says Palo Verde is the state's biggest potential source of radiation if there was ever an accident.
Could a terrorist bring something in that would cause equal type problem? Possibly. They'd have to work at it, though.
Godwin says they participate in full-scale training exercises with Palo Verde twice a year. He took us through the agency's emergency response room where they have direct phone lines to the power plant.
We've activated a couple of 3 times from Palo Verde because of some little technical upsets they had. But as far as having a major event that required evacuation, we haven't had any.
Godwin says his agency not only prepares for a major incident at Palo Verde, but any incident involving radiation.
We practice with having an RDD in the city.
What's that?
A radiation distribution device.
If a large number of people are exposed to radiation, the agency responds, setting up portal monitors.
The agency just got 2 new portal monitors. They're similar to walking through a scanner at the airport, only these detect radiation. They can get 500 people through one of these in an hour.
Godwin then hands me radioactive material from a nuclear reactor.
So if I had this in my hand and walked through here, well, let's see what happens.
Stop. See here.
In a real event, if radiation is detected, you're decontaminated and treated depending on what kind you test for. Now the agency has radiation detectors that cars can drive through.
They're used for any detection, incident, or accident that would be like a dirty bomb, weapons of mass destruction, Super Bowl type of thing. We're thinking about probably using that for those particular activities, or all the activities leading up to that event.
To the Super Bowl.
Yes, yeah.
Godwin says radiation can be found anywhere. It's both natural and man-made. People entering the lab walk across a sticky mat to get soil off their shoes. Godwin says radioactive material can still be found in Arizona soil from nuclear weapons testing in the 50s and from Fukushima's nuclear disaster in 2011. But he says there is no health concern.
Radiation can be very helpful. Look to use in medical, for example. And you do get a benefit out of having power from Palo Verde. Most people don't really understand that it takes quite a bit of exposure to start creating any health problems to people.
Jill Monier, Fox 10 News.
Now, Godwin says his biggest concern is replacing retiring employees. He says it can take up to 2 years to fully train someone to work in that lab.